Now the game goes to turn 7, and the game has a maximum of 9 regular turns in which the Abwehr must declare a coup. Before starting with turn 7, it is important to note that 4 of the 8 Führer Axis cards have been dealt. The SS has 2 and the Abwehr also has 2. Each of these cards give the Abwehr a +1 die roll modifier on the Valkyrie table, increasing the chance of a coup being declared and providing better attack bonuses during the coup stage for the Abwehr player. We begin the turn by checking the military advances by the Allies. The Allies now occupy the Channel Coast and Eastern Europe. Kluge and Feldgiebel are caught in the advance and they are eliminated. The Allied unit is returned to the Allied unit holding box. Go to the assignment phase, 2 dice are rolled. The result, 54. The result is that an Allied unit is sent to the Channel Coast, but that area has already been overrun by the Allies, so that result is ignored. Next, one SS character is sent on assignment to Istanbul by the Abwehr. Whoever is sent to Istanbul will not be able to return to Berlin via regular movement, but will have to use a travel card to come back. Even though Himmler does not present much of a threat now, and it's the most powerful character for the SS, the Abwehr will designate Heydrich, which is the most powerful character in this vicinity here, as the assignment to Istanbul. The SS player looks at his hand and, having an abundance of assignment cards, plays the enemy assignment card to designate Canaris to go to Istanbul. Meanwhile, the Abwehr player, among the relevant cards for this part of the game, has 1 enemy and 1 friendly assignment, and also has travel cards. The Abwehr could let Canaris go to Istanbul and in the same turn burn a travel card, but these travel cards are important also to be used during the coup phase. So the Abwehr will play an enemy assignment and will switch to Heydrich going to Istanbul. The SS player takes a look at his hand and knows that whoever goes to Istanbul is not coming back unless the SS gets a travel card. So he plays his other enemy assignment card and switches back to Canaris, the assignment. Now the Abwehr player looks at his cards and decides that he doesn't want to use a travel card to bring whoever gets assigned to Istanbul back, especially Canaris. So to play it safe, the Abwehr will play the friendly assignment and designate someone other than Canaris from the Abwehr to go to Istanbul. So instead of Canaris, the Abwehr designates Hansen, who's placed on assignment at Istanbul. Now it's time to roll again on the critical randomizer table, this time for turn 7. Note that for turn 7, the Abwehr has 4 chances in 6 of getting cards, but when you compare it to the other turns, it is substantially less number of cards than before. It could be from 4 to 8 cards, and if the SS gets any cards, it's only 5 cards. So we take a die and we roll it. 2, the Abwehr receives 8 more cards. And the 8 cards are dealt out, and they are alibi arrest, enemy assignment, strollen, travel, Goering, travel, and friendly assignment. No Hitler access cards. Now the Abwehr has to make a decision whether to try to start a coup this turn or not. 2 of its most powerful characters, Donangi and Loringhoven, are in general retirement, and it is a big question mark whether they will return at all to the game. Its strongest character, Canaris, is somewhat isolated and far from Führer headquarters, and his movement within Berlin is restricted by zones of control here and here. For him to move to Fuhrer headquarters, he would have to move through Prussia and would probably end his movement north of the SS garrison, still far away from Hitler. Now, Gisevius, the next most powerful Abwehr character, would not be able to reach Hitler this way and would probably have to harass SS characters in the line near Fuhrer headquarters. Also, Bonhoeffer is relatively near Hitler, but he is not a strong attacker. So the characters with the best chances to kill Hitler are Canaris and Oster, of course, if they get close to him, and also Gisevius, if he successfully harasses SS characters on his way. This is the Valkyrie table. The Abwehr must obtain a final modified roll of 6 or more for a coup to be initiated. If he obtains a 5 or less, no coup is declared, and the Abwehr would have to wait for the end of another phase in the game to attempt to declare a coup again. Each Führer Axis card played by the Abwehr represents a +1 die roll modifier. Right now, the Abwehr has only 2 cards. If both are played, the Abwehr would need to roll a 4 or more to successfully start a coup. If he plays both cards and fails, the Abwehr would lose both cards, and any additional attempts without any cards would need a 6 to be successful. Throughout the game, the Abwehr has been trying to protect its headquarters to prevent OKW panic, which happens when an SS unit enters a headquarters. A die is rolled, and 1 to 4 recruited or semi-recruited army characters revert back to unrecruited status. The problem is that in this game, the recruitment of army figures by the Abwehr has been atrocious, and they have 5 semi-recruited army units. So the Abwehr player, who still has a substantial number of unsuspected units, may just ignore their army recruits and go straight for Führer headquarters. Now, if the Abwehr plan to kill Hitler involves moving its strongest characters on the board to the area of the line closest to Führer headquarters, so that at the end of the Abwehr movement and harassment phase, a coup attempt is declared. The question is, how do these characters, which are far from Führer headquarters, reach this area? It is through the use of travel cards, of which the Abwehr has 4. So Trot moves 3 hexes to this blocking position. Gere will move also 3 hexes to establish a blocking position between these 2 headquarters. The Abwehr player activates Oster and will combine regular movement with the travel card. So Oster moves 2 spaces to Silesia, and from there travels to Abwehr headquarters, and still he has 5 movement points. So he moves 3, and he has 2 with which he is going to harass Puppets. It is a +4 attempt. He rolls a 1, Defender retreat. Puppets retreats 1 hex. Oster has the option to advance, and he will. He has 1 movement point left. To try to make life easier for Canaris, Oster will harass Best. It is a +3 attempt. The die is rolled, but this time attacker retreats. So Oster retreats 1 space. Gisevius, down here, will move and try to punch a hole in the line. He moves 5 spaces, so he has 2 movement points left for harassment. Gisevius attempts a +4 attack against Best. The die is rolled, and it is a 2. Defender retreats. The SS retreats Best here, next to Hitler. And Gisevius advances to occupy the space. He has 1 movement point left, but if he attempts to harass any of these units and has to retreat, he will go into general retirement, so he will not take the chance. He ends his turn 2 spaces or hexes away from Hitler. Now the Abwehr activates Canaris, who moves 1 hex to Silesia, and a second travel card is expended for him, which causes Canaris to be transported from Silesia to Abwehr headquarters. From there, he moves 4 hexes adjacent to Dietrich, and he has 4 movement points left for harassment attacks. And he will initiate a harassment attack against Dietrich, who, if forced to retreat, will go into general retirement. So it's a +5 attack, and the roll is 2, defender retreats. Dietrich cannot retreat. He's completely surrounded and goes into general retirement. Canaris advances into the vacated hex. He has 3 movement points left. As things stand right now, the Abwehr has 1 hex adjacent to Hitler, but Canaris wants to clear another one, so he will harass Best, and it is a +5 attack. So the die is rolled, and it is 6. Attacker retreats. So Canaris has to retreat. He has 2 movement points left. Canaris moves 1 space, again, adjacent to Best and Hitler, and stops there. He will not risk another attack because he may be forced to retreat again and lose that advantage of an adjacent hex to Hitler. So Canaris ends his movement and harassment phase right there. Mueller moves 2 hexes and stops in front of Poppets. John moves his full movement allowance and moves adjacent to Wolf and Frank. The Abwehr plays another travel card to fly Hansen from Istanbul to Abwehr headquarters, and he ends his turn right there. And that concludes the Abwehr movement and harassment phase. And the Abwehr declares that it will attempt a coup. The Abwehr player declares that he will attempt a coup. A die will be rolled, and a 6 or more is needed for the coup to succeed. Each Führer Axis card played adds 1 to the die roll. The Abwehr will play both Führer cards that it has in its possession, and a die will be rolled. A 4 or more is needed to start the coup. The result is 4 + 2, 6. Will Hitler be killed? Will the Nazi government be overthrown? Stay tuned for the coup stage. Coming up.